Socrates, a seminal figure in Western philosophy, was born around 470 BCE in Athens, Greece. He is widely regarded as one of the most influential philosophers in history, shaping the course of Western thought. Despite his profound impact, Socrates himself left no written works. What we know about him comes from the accounts of his students, primarily Plato, and later from other philosophers like Xenophon. Early life: Socrates was born to a modest Athenian family. His father, Sophroniscus, worked as a stone mason, while his mother, Phainarete, served as a midwife. Socrates followed in his father's trade, working as a sculptor in his youth, but his true passion lay in intellectual pursuits. Athens, during Socrates' lifetime, was a hub of learning and culture, offering him a rich environment for his philosophical inquiries. Unlike many philosophers who came before and after him, Socrates did not establish a formal school or write philosophical treatises. Instead, he spent his days engaging in public discourse with the citizens of Athens, questioning them on various topics ranging from ethics and politics to human nature. This method of questioning and dialogue would later become known as the Socratic Method. The Socratic Method is perhaps Socrates' most significant contribution to philosophy. This method involves asking a series of probing questions to help someone explore their beliefs and reach a deeper understanding of a particular topic. Rather than providing answers, Socrates would guide his interlocutors to discover the answers themselves, often revealing contradictions in their thoughts along the way. For example, if someone claimed that courage is not feeling fear, Socrates might ask, "Can one be courageous while still feeling fear?" Through a series of such questions, Socrates would lead the person to a more nuanced understanding of courage, often concluding that true knowledge is recognizing the limits of one's understanding. The Socratic Method is not just about finding the right answers but about fostering critical thinking and self-reflection. It encourages individuals to question their assumptions and consider different perspectives, making it a powerful tool for intellectual growth. Socratic philosophy: Socrates' philosophy revolved around the pursuit of knowledge, virtue, and the examination of one's life. He famously stated, "The unexamined life is not worth living," highlighting his belief that self-reflection and philosophical inquiry are essential for a meaningful existence. Socrates was deeply concerned with ethics and morality. He believed that knowledge and virtue were inherently connected, arguing that people who truly understood what was good and just would naturally act in accordance with those principles. For Socrates, moral ignorance was the root cause of wrongdoing. If someone did something wrong, it was because they lacked the knowledge to see the right course of action. In his pursuit of knowledge, Socrates claimed to know nothing, a stance that has been interpreted in various ways. On one hand, it reflected his humility and recognition of the vastness of human ignorance. On the other hand, it was a challenge to the complacency of others who believed they had all the answers. Socrates' assertion that I know nothing became a foundational element of his philosophy, emphasizing the importance of intellectual humility and continuous learning. The trial of Socrates: Socrates' commitment to questioning established norms and beliefs made him both a respected and a controversial figure in Athens. His habit of challenging powerful figures and exposing their ignorance earned him many enemies. In 399 BCE, at the age of 70, Socrates was put on trial by the Athenian government. He was charged with two main offenses: corrupting the youth of Athens and impiety, which included failing to acknowledge the gods of the city and introducing new deities. During his trial, Socrates defended himself with characteristic eloquence, arguing that he was not intentionally corrupting the youth but was instead encouraging them to think critically and question the status quo. Socrates likened himself to a gadfly, a small insect that stings a horse to keep it awake and alert. He believed that his role in Athenian society was similar, to provoke thought and prevent the city from becoming intellectually stagnant. However, His defense did not sway the jury, and he was found guilty by a narrow margin. The death of Socrates. Following his conviction, Socrates was sentenced to death by drinking a cup of poisoned hemlock. He was allowed to escape, as his friends and followers had arranged for his exile, but Socrates chose to accept his fate. He believed that fleeing would undermine the principles he had stood for throughout his life. By accepting the verdict, Socrates demonstrated his commitment to the rule of law and his belief in the importance of living a virtuous life, even in the face of death. Socrates spent his final moments discussing the immortality of the soul and the afterlife with his friends. He remained calm and composed, showing no fear of death. His death is often seen as a martyrdom for the cause of philosophy, and it cemented his legacy as a philosopher who lived, and died, according to his principles. Legacy of Socrates. Socrates' death marked a turning point in the history of Western philosophy. His teachings and methods were carried forward by his most famous student, Plato, who immortalized Socrates in his dialogues. Through Plato's works, Socrates became a symbol of the philosophical life, a life dedicated to the pursuit of wisdom, ethical reflection, and intellectual integrity. The Socratic Method continues to be a fundamental tool in education, law, and philosophy. It is used to teach critical thinking, foster dialogue, and encourage the exploration of complex ideas. Socrates' emphasis on self-examination, moral inquiry, and the pursuit of truth remains as relevant today as it was over 2 millennia ago. Socrates' life and philosophy offer timeless lessons on the importance of questioning assumptions, seeking knowledge, and living a life guided by virtue and reason. His commitment to these ideals, even in the face of death, has made him a lasting figure in the annals of history. Socrates' legacy serves as a reminder that the search for wisdom and the quest to understand the world and ourselves are endeavors that continue to shape our lives and our societies.